Cuphead is an experience full of exciting highs, depressing lows, and enough deaths to make you question your skill as a gamer. Hi, I'm Scotty and welcome back to Rating and Review, the show where I dissect all of your favourite games and find all the negative and positive traits. At the end I'll give it a final rating which will then go on the leaderboard of all the other games I've reviewed. Now, let's get right into the review with story. Spoilers ahead. Cuphead holds a very simple story that anyone of all ages wouldn't have any trouble following. You follow Cuphead and Mugman, who sell their souls to the devil after gambling at his casino. The devil then gives them 24 hours to collect the souls of his previous debtors who escaped. It's evident that the focus is not on story here, which is perfectly understandable, but I have hopes that in the possible future entries, the story will be expanded upon. But after the announcement of the Cuphead Netflix show, I'm sure it will all be covered in there. One key thing that makes Cuphead special is the huge variety of bosses. The entire game essentially consists of boss fights with a few run and gun levels scattered throughout. Each boss you fight is entirely unique and you have to learn how they are going to try and attack you as they shift through their different phases. This means that there is a lot of trial and error as it's designed for you to die over and over again so that you learn how to approach that particular boss fight. This does become frustrating, especially in the later fights, but for me it's not a negative thing as I enjoyed the process of learning how to beat these enemies, even if that meant dying 100 times to get there. The run and gun levels are a great addition that help break up the game. They also offer the chance to get more in-game currency. These levels are also extremely difficult and will have you dying endlessly, but they fit perfectly within the game's format. There are also 3 mausoleum levels which involve you parrying off ghosts to protect an urn in the middle. At the end you get a super which can be used in boss fights when you get 5 cards. I found this to be a great added feature with my go-to being the giant ghost. The hub world is great and has easy access to all levels. It continues to open up as you progress with a different theme for each aisle. To me it feels reminiscent of PS1 era games such as Crash Bandicoot. There are also a few hidden coins around the map which is a nice addition to reward exploration. The coins you collect through run and gun levels or just exploring the hub can be used in Porkrine's Emporium to buy weapons or charms. My go-to weapons to use were the spread and the chaser, mainly because I found aiming in the game to be fairly difficult sometimes, and these weapons were the easiest to handle that. One feature I didn't like was the lock-on shooting, which I never used because it is so difficult to not only jump, dash, and shoot at the same time, but to lock on top of that was extremely difficult. Every time you load your game, you have the option to play as either Cuphead or Mugman. There aren't any differences to how each of them play, but I was happy that the option was there. You can also choose to play 2-player local co-op, with one playing as Cuphead and the other as Mugman. This is a perfectly fine feature, but I do wish that online multiplayer was an option. One of the absolute highlights of the game was the art style. This insanely unforgettable 1930s style was amazing and added so much character to the game. The aesthetics were insane and captured the 1930s perfectly. It's reminiscent of old Disney films and how they were created. The most impressive work for me aesthetically was the design of the bosses, with Cagney Carnation, Baroness von Bonbon, and Wally Warbles being prime examples of great character design. You truly never get bored of seeing the levels in action, and you're always excited to see what's next. On top of this, the soundtrack also captures the 1930s perfectly, with jazz music that was recorded by a live band. Cuphead is divided into 4 different areas, which helps players know how far they are progressing through the game. HowLongToBeat.com says that the main story will take you around 10 hours to complete. For completionists, this will take you around 22 hours. On surface level, you would think that around 4 hours would be the right amount of time to finish, but the reason it is so long is purely because of the difficulty. The fact that you die hundreds of times and have to retry everything piles on the time. There is no doubt that Cuphead is a game that delivers on all fronts. The gameplay offers you extremely challenging boss fights and levels that consistently keep you engaged, with the only downfall being the shooting controls that can become difficult whilst performing other necessary moves. The art style is something that will never be forgotten and captures a feeling of nostalgia that enhances your experience by a mile. The story may not be the most in-depth thing in the world, but it's something that can be easily followed and did not need to be in-depth. And for all of these reasons, I'm giving Cuphead an 8.9 out of 10. This means that it places 3rd on the leaderboard, dethroning Little Nightmares from that top 3 spot. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on more rating and review content. Thanks again, I'm Scotty, goodbye.